Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 4. Now, despite being violent and promiscuous, Ursula believes very strongly in using protection. And of course, what I mean by that is, she believes in forts. Yeah, I know. You didn't think I was going to go there. But let's talk a little bit about forts. I'd like to spend some of this episode going into more detail about them because in the past I have missed some things on them and I have said some things that were incorrect and I need to correct myself. No one's mentioned anything yet, but I'm sure that they will. Now, I erroneously stated that a fort doubles the income of the province that it's built on. This is not true. What a fort actually does is it increases the income of the province it's built on by its administration number divided by 2. So in this case, here in Wick, where I just recently built this castle, it will increase the income of the province by 15%. But forts do other things as well. I mentioned that by building a fort, you are drawing supply away from the provinces that are adjacent to it, which you can see by connected by these orange-yellow lines. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Again, it resides in the administration number. Your fortress takes the resources from neighboring provinces based on its administration. So 30% from each neighboring province in this case. What a fort also does, interestingly, is it pushes supply. So building a fort in a location increases the supply not only in that location, but in nearby locations up to 4 provinces away. Now, the difference between supply and resources is that resources is material. It's what you use to make swords and armor. Supply is food, basically. It's being able to eat and live. We haven't had to experience this yet in this game, but if you have too many troops and they require more food than the province they're in can support, they start to starve. And this is a bad thing because once they've starved for one turn, they get diseased. And disease not only causes them to lose 1 hit point every single turn, but it also gives them other afflictions. Pretty crazy ones too sometimes. You can lose arms and eyes. It's pretty messy. So you typically want to avoid having your troops starve, and there are actually items that you can forge, magical items that increase the supply of an army to prevent this very thing. But the castles push the supply out to nearby provinces. And there's a very specific rate at which they do this. I'm reading from the manual because this is way too complicated for me to ever memorize. It's the administration value times 4. And then you take that and you divide it by the distance the province is from the fort plus 1. And that, of course, limits itself at 4. So, to help you remember it and to be more useful, let me just tell you what it says in this little graph here. The fort itself has 400% of the supply. Of what that province would have normally had. Any province that is 1 away from that fort has 200%. I'm sorry, once again, I had made a mistake. 400% of the administration value. So, the provinces that are 1 away get 200% of your administration value added to them. In this case, 60 supply. 2 provinces away gets 133%. So in this case, 40 supply. 3 provinces away gets 100%, 30 supply. And finally, 4 provinces away gets 80%. And I'm not going to do that one. So that is supply. Then we have supply storage. Now this is different. This indicates how many supplies can be stored in the castle in case the castle is under siege. And how this reduces is also based on kind of an interesting formula. It is the total supply storage divided by the number of turns you are under siege. So the first turn you have the full 500 supply. After 5 turns you only have 100. And again, you want to keep your supply as high as you can because your troops will start to starve, they'll get diseases, and the enemy might be able to take over the fort without even having to fight anybody. So the next we've already discussed, time to build and cost. It varies for the different types of buildings. And then the defense score. Basically, the defense is weighed against the offensive power of the army to determine, are they tearing the walls down? How fast are they tearing the walls down? In some cases, you may siege a fort only to find out that your army is so weak that they're building the walls back up faster than you can tear them down. You're still starving them out, but you're not going to be able to storm the fortress anytime soon. Now, because administration, supply storage, and defense are so important, is there any way for you to improve them? Well, yes, there is. You'll notice here this says extra buildings. We don't have any in Wick, but we do in We have a gatehouse, we have towers, we have a killing ground, supply storage, underground storage, and roads. All of these increase your administration. In this case, administration plus 5 for roads. Underground storage increases both supplies and administration, as does supply storage. And then killing ground, towers, and gatehouse increase your defense and your administration. So by building these buildings, you improve all of those stats. There are also other ways that you can affect this without having to spend any money at all. There are spells. There are spells that will build up a castle, like one called Wizard Tower, for example, or I believe Kelp Citadel, which builds one under the water. There are spells that improve the strength of the walls of a castle, and there are spells that conversely tear the walls down. So the next thing I want to talk about regarding forts is that when you have mages inside of a fort, they are protected in case something crazy should happen. Like, for example, if you do not have a fort, but you're building a lot of mages in a province, and that province is attacked by an army that you maybe didn't know about, maybe they were stealthy, or maybe they cast a spell that made some troops appear in that province, you might have province defense there, but all of your mages who maybe are sitting there researching, they're going to be part of that fight, and you may lose some of them. But if you have a fortress in the province, any attacks like that will go against the province defense, while all of your mages will sit tightly behind the walls of your castle, completely safe. So forts are a really big deal. The more you have, generally the better. I like to keep them at least one empty province apart from each other, because if you build them next to each other, like Saramesha has done here, they're actively working against each other. They're drawing supplies from each other, they're sharing supplies from the nearby territories, and it's just not optimal placement. There might be strategic reasons for why you'd want to do it. You know, there are some nations, like Late Age Lemuria, which is a nation of ghosts that doesn't care anything about supply or resources, that you want to just build as many castles as you can wherever, because they automatically generate your best troops. But in most cases, you'd like to keep them pretty far apart. Okay, so that was my little lecture on forts. I hope you were entertained. And now we are ready, I believe, to end a turn and see what's going on here. Well, not quite yet. Let's build some more troops. Nope, we can't. We're out of money. I did make one change since the last episode, which is I filled up Ninsuna here with troops up to his maximum of 40, and I'm having him now deliver them up here as reinforcements. I believe I'm also... No? No, I can't afford to do anything, so I'm not going to. End the turn. Okay, another throne has been claimed. The Throne of Zeal by the Witch King, so that's Saramesha. We're not doing too great here, but look at this. I was right. With a name like Darkwoods, there's got to be something there, and there was. 2 different sites, the Soul of the Wild and Gem Deposits. There was a battle in Abokte. We initiated this battle. Let's see how it went. Well, I'm expecting victory, but this one we might want to play out. So you can see now that they're casting the spells that I asked them to cast. This gentleman has cast Mist Form, which alters him physically, making him made out of vapors and mists. It makes him harder to hit. And she has been casting Protection, I believe, and she will start casting Slime, and let's see what it does. Let's see the guys nearest to her. I want to see if it had an effect. So they have a protection of... Oh, no, it hasn't had an effect on him. Well, let's just keep an eye on things. Okay, so she's casting it up here. Protection of 17. I'm not sure if they were the right ones to cast it on. In fact, I'm not even sure why they're all the way up there, since they're the bodyguards. Maybe I made a mistake. Oh, there goes the slime. No icon telling you what it's doing, though. Maybe I just clicked the wrong guy? No. Oh, whatever. More of the serpent dancers. More of the slave warriors. And I think we've got this one well in hand. We lost 6. They lost half, and the rest escaped. But now they're attacking me in Knies Plain. Okay, that's the province I just took, and put all that money into defending, so hopefully... Oh yeah. Who are these guys? Spearmen. And I have knights. I don't think they're going to do very well here. Who is this gentleman? He's Dante, the captain, and he is a hero. Soon to be a dead hero, I believe. He dare rose his sword against Ursula, and of course, that's what happens when you do that. Although it looks like he escaped. His men are now all gone. Sleepy Wolds. People are starting to worship false pretenders. Now that is completely unacceptable. We must stop them at once. Dominion -2. Where is that? Right in our heart. Ay, ay, ay. Must be the slave market. Giving him some bad habits. Okay, let's look at these sites. Soul of the Wild. Okay, this is an interesting site. Not only does it give us 5 nature gems, but it gives us a thaumaturgy bonus of 20. What this means is that any thaumaturgy spell cast in this province is at a cost of 20% off. So it's a good idea for us to build a lab in this province, and that's actually pretty fortunate for us because I was intending to build a castle here anyway as soon as I cleared out the bad guys. And the gem deposits, 75 gold. All the more reason to build a castle. Okay, good. This is finally, things are looking up for us. So we are going to get Ursula the heck out of here. She can fly, so let's just have her go see Batman and see what's in the good old woods, because they've been very good to us up to this point. And Batman, I think he's strong enough, and the army that he has is now strong enough to hold against these armies of Cetis. Isn't that right, Batman? I am vengeance. I am the knight. Alright. Whatever, dude. And, okay, let's give us some defense here. Just our usual 11, since it's not a bridge province. And we're going to go and 80 units, co-onis and militias, but with a high province defense. Okay. Okay, maybe not. 20 units. Okay, well, change of plans. We're just gonna sit tight and wait for reinforcements to arrive, and hopefully they will shortly. Oh, I should have done 2 moves at once that last time. It's the little things you forget, you know? Let's build some troops. I want to save some money, though, for a lab. And you can see here, since this is a fortress province, we can also build these other things. Right now we need a lab the most. And we are out of money. And here, all this money I thought that we had. Oh gosh, 2 turns in a row, no mages. Oh well. You do what you can, right? Our money will soon be growing back to where it used to be. Native Dominion here in Wick. Why? Tianchi. Oh, that's right, because Tianchi has a very powerful Dominion that we're fighting against. Well, folks, I hope you learned a lot today about fortresses, and I look forward to continuing these videos, so please leave comments. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see or anything that I am doing wrong. As I just admitted today, I'm quite capable of doing. And thank you very much. Thank you for joining the Holy Order of Ursula, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.